Al Jazeera, 13th of February 2024, fix it internally, increased numbers of Chinese Indonesians vie for parliamentary seats. On Wednesday, nearly 10,000 individuals, some of whom are members of the ethnic Chinese minority, will vie for one of 580 seats in the National Parliament of Indonesia during general elections. The Indonesian General Elections Commission, KPU, reports that in 38 provinces, 9,917 candidates are registered, representing 18 political parties. Indonesians of Chinese descent, who comprised approximately 2.8 million of the country's 237 million inhabitants at the time of the 2010 national census, are among those participating. The 2020 more recent census did not include ethnic breakdowns. In the case of Chinese Indonesians, previously restricted political rights have been granted to them by democracy. Achieving assimilation policies that rendered Chinese Indonesians more Indonesian and effectively relegated them to second-class citizenship. The Lunar New Year was not openly celebrated for over 3 decades during the regime of Suharto, which ceased to exist in 1998 in the wake of mass protests. Many sought employment in the private sector and commerce after their access to government positions was restricted. Politics is not for everyone, said Taufik Tanasaldi, a senior lecturer at the University of Tasmania specializing in Indonesian and Asian studies. Exactly regarding the Chinese population, who had been subjected to decades of discriminatory policies during the Suharto regime. About equal opportunities for ethnic Chinese to compete for office and vote for their preferred candidates, Taufik stated that interest had grown post-Suharto as a result of political reforms and policies designed to eradicate discriminatory practices. This growing interest was spurred by the elections or appointments of several Chinese citizens to national and regional political positions. The Chinese community has placed significant importance on the visibility of their initial success, he disclosed to Al Jazeera. Former Jakarta Governor Basuki Tjahajapurnama, colloquially referred to as Ahok, is one of the notable Chinese individuals who have entered politics. Subsequently incarcerated for blasphemy about remarks made during his campaign, he has since maintained a more reclusive persona. Taufik stated, representation has remained stable and has not deteriorated in any way. However, Taufik asserts that parties advocating for nationalist platforms are more appealing to a considerable number of Chinese Indonesian voters than those supporting sectarian values, especially on a national scale. However, Taufik asserts that parties advocating for nationalist platforms are more appealing to a considerable number of Chinese Indonesian voters than those supporting sectarian values, especially on a national scale. February 14th is Ash Wednesday, a religious observance for Catholic Indonesians. Some candidates may be disadvantaged under the current proportional representation system, which requires them to campaign directly for seats despite representation. Arsiti Zero, a research professor of political science at Indonesia's National Research and Innovation Agency, BRIN, asserts that in comparison to the previous system, where ballots went to the party rather than the individual candidates, the open list system rendered extremely difficult to compete for some candidates. In carrying out tactical strategies, the legislative candidate must put in the effort or spend the money. The party has less to do with it, she explained to Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera interviewed 3 Chinese Indonesians vying for the national parliament. PKB Fuadi Lukman. As the current chairman of the Muslim-based National Awakening Party, PKB, Fuadi Lukman is a candidate for the party. The PKB nominates Anies Baswedan and Muhaimin Iskandar for the president and vice president positions, respectively. Gus Dur, the late president of Indonesia, was a prominent figure in establishing PKB. In 2000, during his presidency, he eased the prohibition on public Lunar New Year celebrations. Friday, age 61, is a native of Singkawang, West Kalimantan Province, Indonesia. He attended university in Jakarta in 1983 and has been a capital city resident ever since. While campaigning in some of the most impoverished regions of the vast capital, he interacted with locals and uploaded videos to TikTok and Instagram. Friday, the proprietor of a timber industry company based in Jakarta implored Chinese Indonesians to participate in the Festival of Democracy in Indonesia by casting their ballots. Because we reside in Indonesia, ethnic Chinese who are loyal to China have no reason to be politically averse, he told Al Jazeera. Do not request recognition as Indonesians while we disregard democratic procedures. If re-elected, Fuadi intends to advance justice and equality-oriented initiatives, with an emphasis on healthcare and education that are more affordable. Partai Buruh Labour Party, of which Mary Sucipto is a member, was established by Indonesia's numerous national trade union confederations. Under the leadership of labor activist Said Iqbal, the party has refrained from formally endorsing any presidential candidate. Buruh Mary Sucipto and Partai. Mary, the proprietor of a housing construction firm, asserts that she identified Partai Buruh as the ideal platform to advocate for improved law enforcement and social welfare for the Indonesian working class, including white and blue-collar employees. The 54-year-old, born in Medan, North Sumatra Province, Indonesia, and relocated to Jakarta for university over 3 decades ago, is running for one of the national parliament's seats in the capital. As an element of her campaign strategy, Mary introduces herself and distributes business cards to individuals she encounters. Additionally, she has requested the assistance of her family, colleagues, and professional acquaintances. "I sincerely hope that ordinary Chinese minority women without political experience or background have the chance and capability to run for office," she told Al Jazeera. Reddy Nusantara, an individual under the Perindo Party, is a candidate in Central Java, Indonesia. Perindo is in favor of Ganjar Pranowo and Mahfud MD for the presidency. It extended its support to departing President Joko Widodo upon re-election in 2019. The 55-year-old proprietor of a manufacturing facility specializing in metal cabinets for cabling aspires to foster more significant foreign investments in Indonesia and establish a tax structure that incentivizes manufacturers to utilize domestic goods instead of relying on particular economic zone imported components. Reddy, a native of Semarang, the provincial capital, is targeting first-time electors and the ethnic Chinese and business communities of the country. Additionally, he hopes to sway the opinions of those who may have intended to abstain from voting. Reddy also appeared on video programs where he discussed business ownership. He urges the younger generation to participate in national politics and fix it from within as Chinese Indonesians. "Every ethnic Chinese person, especially young people, must understand Indonesian politics," Reddy told Al Jazeera. "We will perpetually be the cash cow of the Indonesian economy if the Chinese community fails to comprehend the parliament," he said, hoping that greater political engagement would assist in dispelling the persistent stereotype that ethnic Chinese are only interested in conducting business and deceiving the Indonesian people.